Well, welcome back. Glad to see you again today. I thought today would do something a little different, and I've taken the liberty of going ahead and covering the canvas with a complete layer of sap green. And to that, I'm going to add a little Prussian blue right on the bottom here. And we just start at the bottom and work up so that it gets lighter and lighter as we go up. There we go. I thought today would make a happy little stream. It's just sort of running through the woods here. There. Okay, we just work this blue back and forth so it graduates in value as it goes up. Okay. Now, let's use this brush. And we'll take a little bit of cad yellow and let's make a light source in here. And we'll just do this by making little X patterns. There we go. Just work it around, around, around so it gets darker and darker as it goes out from the center. Maybe a touch more. Always starting in the light area and working outward. There we go. Just back and forth, little X's. Okay. Now we'll take the big brush and very gently we'll hypnotize this. There. Just let it blend outward. So that we sort of have a light source. That's all we're looking for here. Now still using the big brush, we'll go right back into the sap green. And we'll do some basic tree shapes here. And we push the paint into the canvas, just really push it. There we go. You need an almighty easel when you're doing this because you're really pressing the paint into the canvas. Okay. Maybe we'll have another big tree right in here. Okay, there it is. Isn't that fantastic? You can just push a tree right out of your brush like that. Maybe we'll have another tree here. No use stopping. We're having so much fun here with these trees. Okay. And already we have a basic shape to work with. We really don't plan these paintings. We let them happen. We just sort of decide where we want basic shapes and work from there. Okay, let's take the almighty knife, little Van Dyke brown and white mixed together. And we'll put some trunks in these almighty trees. And all we're going to do is touch and sort of pull a little bit. Let them get wider as they go down. There we are. And maybe we'll have another trunk hiding back in here somewhere. Just make all kind of little tree things happen here. This is sort of different in the paintings we've done previously because this painting has no magic white on it. All we do is start with the sap green, completely cover the canvas, work the Prussian blue from the bottom upward to make it darker in the foreground. These are the kind of things that we continually look for, new ideas, new ways of using this fantastic technique. And these ideas we put out continually to all the people that enjoy this type of painting. We have a little quarterly newsletter that we use to put these ideas out to people so they are current in what's happening. Okay, let's just have another almighty trunk right down through here. And maybe we'll highlight these just a little bit with a little plain white. Just think where the light would strike and run through here and have fun. There we go. Okay, over on this side now, the light's going to come from the opposing direction, opposite direction. Just a little here and there. Okay. Now we'll take a 1-inch brush and a little bit of magic white. And we'll start with some yellow and a touch of phthalo green. Remember that a thin paint will stick to a thick paint, so we thinned it just a little bit with a little magic white, and then we just push out all these thousands of little leaves. There they come. There they are. Isn't that fantastic? If you're painting along with us, by now you should begin to have little leaves all over these trees, just beautiful little leaves. Leave a lot of the dark areas in here. We don't want to kill all the dark areas. We need the dark in order to show the light. There. Okay, maybe we'll come right down here and drop in another happy little bush. There they come. And over in here. So we want this to be the brightest area of the painting, back here where the light source is. And as we work forward, we're going to let it get darker and darker and darker. Okay. Maybe a little light coming through right in here. And put your trunk in before you put the leaves on, so you have leaves in front of the trunk. You don't want the trunk sitting on the outside of the tree. Okay. There's a nice little bush. There he is. And maybe over here is a happy little thing growing. Nature is so fantastic. Enjoy it. Let it make you happy. Okay, there's another one. Okay, now I'm going to go into a little sap green. Begin using a little sap green with this yellow, so it begins to get a little bit darker as we work back here. And we'll put some highlights on this little tree. There we go. By now you should begin having the feeling that you're walking through the deep woods and all the beautiful tree shapes are there. The little squirrels are hiding in the trees. The bunny rabbits are behind. There we go. Once again, don't kill all this dark area. You need it to produce distance in the painting. Okay. That should give us enough to get started with. Now we'll take the almighty fan brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of magic white and a little bit of firm white. And we'll make, let's have a little waterfall that's happening back here, and maybe a bubbling little stream that's just working its way through. And so often we avoid running water, and running water is a lot of fun. So here we go. Pull it over and let it drop if you want to make a little waterfall. Then we take the fan brush and push to make some little foamy things happen. Then we begin building our running water, and we're pushing the fan brush so that it bends upward and the foam's on the top instead of on the bottom. There we are. Let all these little things just happen. There we go. Maybe under the water here there's a little stone that's causing the water to sort of just bubble over. We might not see the stone, but it's under there. As it comes towards you, let it get wider, bigger, stronger. More of these little things, these little actions that are happening here. All kinds of little churning motions. And avoid having your waterfall here and the stream coming straight through your painting. Let it sort of wander around. All these little water actions. And they all hide here in your fan brush. All you have to do is sort of push them out. Okay, good. Alrighty, maybe back here in the distance we have a little stone back here. We just use some Van Dyke brown and we'll build us a little stone. And maybe there's a little stone out here too. This is your world, so you put stones wherever you want them. This painting comes right out of your heart, so just let it sort of flow. Let it happen. Maybe we'll take a little bit of brown and white and at least a little touch of blue, just to make sort of a gray color here. And we can highlight these little stones, just like that. Maybe there's a little ridge coming down through here. Little sunlight playing across the stones. And a little dark edge underneath here, so that it has some distance between the water and the stone. And we take the little fan brush and we'll splash some water up on the stones here. There. There we go. Okay, maybe we'll let this just drift right on down through here. Maybe right along here, there's another happy little waterfall that's happening right here. So you take your fan brush, go straight, and let it just fall over. Just like so. Isn't that something? That you can make a waterfall that quick. Just a small one. We don't want to have a violent waterfall here, just a little bitty waterfall. And then we push to make our little foamy areas where the waterfall is going to hit and crash. There we go. Okay, now let's take the big brush again and we use some sap green and Prussian blue. It's getting darker as it comes downward. And we'll throw in some more happy little bushes back here. You need the dark in order to show the light. Okay, maybe over here there's a nice bush too. Let some of these bushes protrude out over the water. Okay. Now we can take a little more of the highlight color. Some cad yellow, a little bit of phthalo and sap green mixed together. And let's start back here and push this rock back into the painting. We just put a little bush in front of it. There we go. And maybe right here there's some nice little things that just sort of hang over the water. Okay, let's do this nice one right here. There we go. There we go. You can do it. You can do it. Just push that waterfall right back into the painting. Okay, let's take a little more brown here and let's put a little stone, a little gravel out here for all these nice bushes and stuff to set on. There we go. A little highlight on the stones. And a few little grassy things that grow right on down on the bank here. Maybe we'll even get daring and put a little stone out here in the water. There. Just lay it in with Van Dyke brown, and then we highlight it with a sort of the gray color. There. Just let this break, play, and just run right across this little stone. Okay, a little more of the magic white, a little firm white. Now we're going to start playing the water around this stone. Maybe it just comes around like so and sort of falls over, splashes a little here, and around the side, down. All kinds of little actions happening in this. Bit of water splashing up against the rocks here. Okay, now we're getting a nice little stream here. You can see how it's beginning to pick up the blue that's underneath here and make this water darker as it comes closer to you. There we go. Okay, let's go back to our old big brush here. A little more blue and sap green. And we'll project some bushes right up through here now. Need a lot of paint in the brush. More green than blue. And we'll just let these run right on down like so. Now we can highlight these with a little yellow, sap green. We're getting much darker in color now. There. And just sort of vary your color tones back and forth a little so they stand out. Leave the dark areas. That's the only thing you have to separate all these beautiful bushes. There's a nice one. Add a little bush right in here. Looks like some of the beautiful streams that we have in Alaska. You walk through the woods and you listen to and you look at, and they make you happy. They have a beautiful sound to them. You can almost hear the bubbling and carrying on as it travels down the creek bed here. Just with the Van Dyke brown here, we're just adding a few little sticks here and there that you always have in the woods. Okay. Now we can take a clean knife and just scrape through the dark areas and let the canvas show through to give the indication of all kind of little sticks and twigs that are growing through here. Just using the point of the knife here. And these little sticks create tremendous distance in a painting. So many of the fast painting techniques that I have seen around the country as I teach this almighty method are very flat, have very little depth to them. Okay, maybe now we might as well have some fun here. Let's take some Van Dyke brown and let's put an almighty dead tree right up through here. You always have dead trees in the woods when you're walking around. There. Be brave. Go right across the waterfall here. And we'll just lay this in with a knife. We're using very thick paint here. Right across the top. And let's give him a little friend right beside him here. This old tree's just about had it. He's gonna sort of fall over in the stream, be washed away here pretty soon. But until then, he's still part of the beauty that's ever evident in nature. Maybe we'll just make him a little taller. That way he'll make a bigger splash when he hits the water. Okay. Now I'm going to use the liner brush with a little bit of thin oil on it, a little yellow and a little permanent red mixed together. We'll brighten this one up a little touch. And I'm going to just go down the side of it here, just highlight him a little. Need something bright here, so let's just use this tree. There. And let this sort of streak so it looks like bark. Okay, we'll wash him off. Now we'll use some more of the thin oil and a little Van Dyke brown. And we'll put a few old branches that are hanging on this tree. Okay, and with the thin oil, it makes the paint thinner. So once again, you're working with thin and thick paints. The thin paint will stick to the thicker paint. And I recommend you use an oil. If you use paint thinner, it has a tendency to bleed if you're not very careful. And the oil makes it much slicker. There we go. And there we are. Just a few little limbs here and there. Let's get a little more oil here. And when you're working this paint in the oil, turn the brush. That brings it to a nice point. And you can make all these delicate little limbs and stuff. Let's put some over here on this one. At home you have unlimited time. Here we're limited by our time factor, but you can put tremendous detail in these paintings. So we're just trying to give you an idea here. We're just trying to give you a guide to follow, to teach you how to use this fantastic technique. And at home, let your imagination be your guide. Let your heart take you wherever you want to be. There, look at all those little limbs, just in a matter of minutes. Okay, maybe we'll have one coming right through here. There we go. Just let them flow off your brush. And this tree tends to push everything back in the painting. Give it more distance. Maybe there's just an old one hanging sort of here and there. Go. Okay, I take a little touch more of the highlight color. That's yellow with a touch of permanent red and a little oil in it. And we'll just highlight some of these major limbs here. Just let the brush flow right down the limb. If you have a problem with maybe your hand's not steady enough to do this, use your palette or something to sort of balance your hand. I was very fortunate. I was blessed with a very steady hand. And it comes in very handy when you're doing these little delicate things. Okay, maybe a few little highlights over here. There we go. Just sort of work all this together. A little bit right up here. Okay, clean out the brush here. And let's see. What do we need here? I'm going to pull this down just a little bit to make it look a little... There we go. A little more of a cliff right here. A little stone. Very dark. Okay. Maybe right over in here we'll build a nice little stone right here too. If we have one in the water, maybe we need one over here. This is straight Van Dyke brown again. And we'll take a little touch of the blue and the brown and white. Okay, just lay this on and very gently, just let the paint break. It's a very, very gentle touch. Super gentle touch. You almost let the knife touch. Okay, now we'll take a little more of the magic white, a little green and yellow. Mix it together. We'll make some little bushes here to come up and protrude over the stone. You need a thin paint to go over the top of this very thick paint that you've put on. So, there we go. And we put some little grassy areas around the tree's foots. splash that back up on the stone here, like so. Okay. Good. I think we just about have our little stream finished today. And if you're painting along with us, you should have just about completed this painting. Might put a few little touches here and there. As I say, at home you have time to put in tremendous detail. You can work and carry on and build all kind of happy little things in here. Here we're limited by the amount of time we have, so we're just trying to show you the basic technique, the basic idea. Need a little highlight on this little dead one that's laying right out through here. Okay. Maybe some little sticks here and there. A little brighter color so they show up. There's one right in front of the stone. Okay, I think we'll just take a little thin oil, permanent red here, and we'll sign this painting. A little more oil. And I hope you've enjoyed this. This is sort of a new idea. As I say, we've used no magic white on this canvas, just pure sap green. And this will work in a multitude of colors. You can paint the canvas with blue, with combinations of colors, and make some of the most fantastic little paintings you've ever seen. One of the prettiest ones is to paint it with Van Dyke brown and make beautiful autumn scenes out of it. And the brown is picked up by the yellows and oranges and reds, and it just stands out. Fantastic painting. Okay, we'll just sign this one. There we go. Yeah. And we'll call that painting finished. Once again, I hope you've painted along with us and you've enjoyed this picture. It is a lot of fun. And we hope to see you again next time, and we'll do another happy little painting. Until then, from all of us here, happy painting.